Hi, welcome back. Well, it's great to have a fellow Christian television film guy in the studio this morning from Brazil, Regis Terencio. How are you, Regis?
I'm very good. I'm pleased to be here. It's an honor. Thank you for having me here.
Now, your English is very good, and I understand you learnt it from homeless people in Ireland. How did that happen?
Yeah, that is true. Well, I wanted to get involved in filmmaking, and I knew that I had to do it in USA because filmmaking in Brazil is not as good in USA. Mm-hmm. And I moved to Ireland to learn English, and I didn't have any money, so I stayed with the homeless for a couple of weeks. And I used to pick up...
Do you mean you lived in homeless shelters? Is that what you mean?
Well, I did have a shelter, mm-hmm. but during the day I would eat with the homeless, and I would pick up coins from the streets, because they used to serve food. They used to serve lunch, but they didn't have dinner. So I used to pick up coins on the streets and go to the market and get noodles. It was 12 cents noodles.
Wow.
Yeah. And I always wanted to try the 13 cents noodles, but that was always too expensive for me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So this is the stereotype of the starving artist. You really took that to the full extreme, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't really care to do it. Like, I enjoyed it. I was willing to do it because I know that I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to do film for God, and I was willing to do whatever it cost to do it. And even when I went to USA to make connections and to go to festivals and stuff to meet people, I didn't have enough money, so I just took my sleeping bag. So I would sleep on the streets and go to the festivals during the day. I did find some people that really helped me there. So Rodney and Laurie from Gideon Film Festival, they really helped me. And Clayton and Marlene gave me shelter once.
Wow. So this, I mean, like you say, you just be prepared to, sacrifice anything, do whatever it takes. And that attitude has taken you to some interesting places. You have been involved in movies in the US, in Brazil, in other places.
Yeah.
Are you normally the good guy, the bad guy, the romantic leading man?
Well, now with this drug dealer kind of look, I'm now usually the bad guy. But actually growing my beard and my hair for a role is not necessarily a bad role, but it's a role that usually we see that kind of character as neat, but they want to have a different kind of look. So I would be a good guy that looks like a bad guy.
Looks a bit rough, yeah. Okay. I'm thinking of Heath Ledger, being the bad guy, and that just really seemed to mess him up psychologically. Is it difficult to be the bad guy, to sort of inhabit this evil character, to take that evil on board? Is it a challenge for you spiritually?
Well, it always depends on how you prepare to do the character. So I don't know how to call it in English. In Portuguese you say like you have to do some lab work. I don't know if you'd say the same in English, but when you do a Christian film, I'm mostly involved in Christian films. So we also do it, but we have like a spiritual view of it. And
so there's so much preparation involved,
it's
as
so
well
much
as
different. Yeah, it's so much different. And even during the filming, like we always pray before we start filming. We always pray after we stop filming, and we have counseling.
There's a lot of support there. Yeah. Wow. Now you're really passionate about film and television, this screen sort of based ways of telling stories. Why do you think that medium is so powerful?
Like making films and media in general, we tell stories. And that's my passion for making film. That films have the power of storytelling, and Jesus was the best storyteller ever.
True.
And
but he did it in person. He did it with public speaking.
Yeah.
But you're doing it with film. So what's special about film? This is what I'm trying to push you on.
Okay. So different from from stage drama and TV. Film is something more realistic. So you can see like when an actor is on stage, he has to do like big movements and stuff. But when it's film, it's something really subtle. It's so subtle that if you are on film and you are sad, you have to somehow people know you are sad, but you are trying to hide it.
Yes.
Because when people realize you are sad and you are trying to hide it, then they cry. Because that's what they do in real life.
Because the tiniest twitch on your face, combined with the music and the cinematography, can really get across a message.
So film is much more real, and you can identify much more with film because of this kind of subtleness, you know.
Yeah, wow. Now, another interesting part of your work is that you actually sort of do motivational talks with groups of young people at churches and schools and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I give talks because usually people see like these amazing stories and like these awesome films that I'm working on, and they think of the success and the glamour and it looks fancy, but they never know that you have to be really vulnerable, you know, like if you want to take the risk to be successful, you have to take the risk to fail. You know, you have to be vulnerable. And so I give these talks to tell them that if you have to pursue what God put you on earth to do, no matter what it costs, it doesn't have to be easy, it has to be possible. And that's very fulfilling to inspire people and to do, you know what.
I mean, there's a certain line of thinking that says things are too easy for young people these days. They actually need to deliberately go out there and find a challenge, to do something hard. Do you sort of subscribe to that view?
Yeah, sure. You give much more value to the things you've conquered when it was not easy. The hardest it is, actually, the best it feels when, you know, like when you see like, oh, when those people come to you, those young people come to you and they say, oh, I did this and this because I heard your talk and that inspired me to do it.
Wow.
And you feel like, wow, well, praise God, you know.
Yeah. It makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, you know, like it was worth it to do it.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, if our viewers, Regis, are interested in checking out, you know, your show reel or some of the projects you've been involved in, do you have a website they can visit?
No, they can just add me on Facebook, and my Facebook is basically my page.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of people are doing it these days.
Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, so there you go. Check out Regis Terencio. The spelling is there on your screen on Facebook, and check out his photos and videos. Hey, thanks so much for coming into In Focus and chatting to us.
Thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure.
We'll see you straight after the break.